Imagine losing not just your house, not just the walls that sheltered your childhood or the rooms echoing with family laughter, but the very land your ancestors called home for 1,000 years, fields tilled by generations, olive trees planted by hands long gone, and the soil that holds your people's stories. For nearly 2 millennia, the Jewish people wandered the globe, carrying with them only stories, laws, and a memory of Zion. They became a people without a country, yet never without a sense of belonging to something greater than themselves. Their journey is one of suffering and survival, marked by exile, persecution, and loss, but also of cultural endurance, resilience, and an unbreakable hope for return. Through centuries of hardship, they preserved their faith, their language, and their traditions, passing them down from parent to child. Across continents and generations, Jewish communities developed unique customs, foods, and languages, yet always shared a common heritage and a dream of Jerusalem, a city that lived in their prayers and songs, no matter how far they roamed. This hope, passed down like a precious heirloom, fueled the movement to re-establish a Jewish homeland in the 20th century. It inspired pioneers to return, to rebuild, and to dream of a future where their children could once again call this land their own, a turning point that still shapes our world today. The creation of Israel in 1948 was not the end of the story, but the beginning of a new complex chapter, one filled with hope, challenges, and the ongoing quest for peace and security. To understand this journey is to understand the roots of faith, identity, and the modern Middle East, a story of loss and rebirth, of longing and fulfillment that continues to shape the world we live in today. The Jewish story begins with a promise to Abraham, a covenant with one God, a people, and a land. Generations later, Moses led the Israelites from slavery in Egypt, forging a nation in the wilderness. At Mount Sinai, they received the Torah, a set of laws that became the foundation of Jewish life and identity. The Torah unified the Israelites, guiding their rituals, justice, and daily conduct. After 40 years they entered Canaan, eventually forming a kingdom under King David, who made Jerusalem the capital. David's son Solomon built the first temple, a spiritual center for the nation. The temple symbolized God's presence and the heart of Jewish worship. This era laid the groundwork for a people bound by faith, law, and land. After Solomon's reign, the kingdom split, Israel in the north, Judah in the south. Assyria conquered Israel, scattering the 10 lost tribes. Later, Babylon destroyed Judah, demolished the first temple, and exiled the elite. In Babylon, Jews faced a choice: assimilate or preserve their identity. They chose resilience, creating synagogues and preserving sacred texts. Judaism transformed, no longer centered on sacrifice but on prayer, scripture, and community. 50 years later, Persia's Cyrus the Great allowed Jews to return and rebuild. Many stayed in Babylon, but others returned to restore their society and construct the Second Temple. This marked a new era of renewal and adaptation. The trauma of exile reshaped Jewish faith and community life forever. The return was not just physical, but spiritual, a testament to survival. The Second Temple era saw Judea under Persian, Greek, and then Roman rule. Roman oppression led to revolts, culminating in the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE. The loss was catastrophic, ending sacrificial worship and scattering Jews across the empire. Rome renamed the land Syria-Palestina and banned Jews from Jerusalem. A second revolt brought even harsher repression and mass exile. The diaspora became a defining reality, with Jews establishing communities from North Africa to Europe and Asia. Without a homeland, Jewish life centered on the synagogue, Torah study, and law. Rabbis became leaders, guiding communities through prayer and tradition. Rabbinic Judaism emerged, sustaining identity across continents. The Jewish people adapted, surviving without sovereignty for centuries. In the Middle Ages, Jewish communities found themselves as minorities living under both Christian and Muslim rule. Their daily lives were shaped by the customs, laws, and attitudes of the dominant societies around them, often forcing them to adapt in order to survive. Despite being outsiders, Jews managed to carve out spaces for themselves, building neighborhoods, synagogues, and schools that became the heart of their communities. In many Muslim lands, Jews were often tolerated as people of the book. They contributed greatly to a golden age of culture, science, and scholarship, especially in places like Al-Andalus. Jewish philosophers, poets, and scientists worked alongside their Muslim and Christian neighbors, translating texts and advancing knowledge in fields like medicine, astronomy, and philosophy. In contrast, life in Christian Europe was far more precarious. Jews faced deep suspicion, harsh legal restrictions, and were often barred from owning land or joining many professions. As a result, they were pushed into roles like money lending and trade, occupations that were both necessary and resented by the wider society. Accusations and negative stereotypes spread quickly, fueling cycles of resentment, scapegoating, and violence. Myths and rumors about Jews led to social tensions that could erupt at any moment. Waves of persecution followed, massacres during the Crusades, scapegoating and brutal attacks during the Black Death, and repeated expulsions from countries like England, France, and Spain. Each time, Jewish families were forced to leave behind homes, livelihoods, and centuries of heritage. Yet, despite relentless adversity, Jewish culture not only survived, but thrived. Strong communities formed around shared traditions, religious study, and mutual support. Celebrations, rituals, and learning became acts of resilience and hope. The Talmud became the central text, guiding daily life and spiritual practice. Rabbis emerged as respected leaders, serving as teachers, judges, and guardians of tradition. Hebrew language and sacred traditions were carefully preserved and passed down from generation to generation, even in the face of exile and uncertainty. This remarkable resilience allowed Jews to maintain a strong sense of identity, faith, and community across centuries of wandering and displacement. Their survival through centuries of hardship stands as a powerful testament to the enduring strength of tradition, faith, and the bonds of community. The 20th century brought the Holocaust, a tragedy of unimaginable scale. Nazi Germany, fueled by anti-Semitism, stripped Jews of rights, livelihoods, and dignity. With World War II, persecution escalated to genocide ghettos, mass shootings, and extermination camps. 6 million Jews, 2/3 of Europe's Jewish population, were murdered. The Holocaust shattered faith in progress and exposed the depths of human cruelty. Survivors emerged with a resolve: never again. The Shoah became a defining trauma, shaping Jewish identity and global conscience. Its lessons echo in the fight against hatred and the defense of human rights. After the Holocaust, the need for a Jewish homeland became urgent. Zionism, once a dream, became a necessity for survival. Holocaust survivors sought refuge in Palestine, then under British rule. Tensions with local Arabs grew as Jewish immigration increased. The UN proposed partition: 2 states, 1 Jewish, 1 Arab. Jews accepted, Arabs rejected. In 1948, Israel declared independence. War broke out immediately with neighboring Arab states. Israel survived, but the conflict created a massive Palestinian refugee crisis. The Nakba. The birth of Israel was both triumph and tragedy, shaping the region's future. The struggle for land and identity continues to this day. Israel's creation did not end conflict. It transformed it into a lasting struggle. For Jews, Israel is a guarantee of survival. For Palestinians, it marks loss and displacement. Competing historical claims fuel the Israeli-Palestinian conflict over land, identity, and justice. Issues like Jerusalem, settlements, and refugees are rooted in 1948's unresolved legacy. The U.S. has been Israel's strongest ally, shaping global politics and policy. The Holocaust influenced international law, inspiring the Genocide Convention and human rights principles. Never again became a global commitment, though its application remains debated. The lessons of Jewish history continue to challenge and inform the present. The Jewish journey is a mirror for the world, a story of identity, intolerance, and the longing for home. It's a narrative that echoes far beyond one people, touching on universal themes of belonging, displacement, and the search for acceptance. In a world where so many still struggle to find their place, the lessons of this journey are more relevant than ever. It shows how a people can survive millennia without a state, and why the desire for a homeland is so powerful. The Jewish experience is a testament to the strength of culture, faith, and community, even in the face of exile and adversity. Their traditions, passed down through generations, have kept hope alive when all seemed lost. Understanding this history is key to grasping the modern Middle East and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The roots of today's headlines stretch back centuries, shaped by migrations, wars, and dreams of return. By exploring these origins, we gain insight into the passions and pain that still shape the region. Both Jewish and Palestinian narratives hold truth. Acknowledging both is essential for dialogue. Only by listening to each other's stories can we hope to build understanding and move toward peace. Empathy and recognition of shared humanity are the first steps toward reconciliation. The story warns of the dangers of scapegoating and anti-Semitism, patterns that still surface today. History teaches us how quickly prejudice can turn to violence, and why vigilance against hatred is always necessary. Studying this journey helps us recognize and fight prejudice in our own societies. It encourages us to challenge stereotypes, to stand up for those who are marginalized, and to foster environments where diversity is celebrated, not feared. Ultimately, it's a testament to resilience, memory, and the enduring struggle for self-definition. The Jewish story is about holding on to identity through centuries of change, and about the courage to rebuild, generation after generation. The Jewish story, with all its pain and triumph, reminds us that history is not just past, it's alive in our world today. By learning from it, we can shape a future rooted in understanding, compassion, and hope for all people. If you found this journey meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below with your opinions and thoughts about the video. Your support and feedback help us bring more stories like this to light, and together we can keep the conversation going.